On Monday, the 1st of July 2024, a Category 4 hurricane named Beryl approached the southern Caribbean. The eye passed directly over the Grenadine Islands, two of which, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, are part of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada. The remainder, Union, Mairo, Cano and Bequia, are part of the Diocese of Kingstown, St. Vincent. The immediate response of churches and agencies in the region and indeed throughout the world was to rush in necessary supplies, food, water, toiletries, tarpaulins, etc. But the work of rebuilding homes must start as soon as possible, and the people are upbeat, determined to get to work as soon as building materials become available. But other buildings, schools and churches must also be repaired or, in many cases, rebuilt from the foundations up. These are the scenes that met our eyes as we left the port of Tyrrell Bay and made our way towards the village of Lestaire and the Church of the Holy Rosary. Amazingly, here and there we came across a house that escaped damage, and that raises many interesting questions. But mostly the scene was destruction. At the Church of the Holy Rosary Lestaire, it was really heartbreaking to see the terrible damage. This church was built in the late 1980s by Father John F. Sheehan. It was a beautiful church, built in almost circular formation, very beautiful. But the front wall collapsed and the roof collapsed into the building. Here is Bishop Clyde taking pictures inside the Church of the Holy Rosary, Lestaire, Carriacou. From there we moved towards the town of Hillsborough, and in the churchyard there was this magnificent Brazil nut tree which gave shade and shelter to many people and many events over many decades of church activity. It's stripped totally naked and bare, but there is the promise of new life. It's not dead, it will revive, and it will again provide shade and shelter to people. The parish church of St. Patrick, Hillsborough. In the hurricane of 2004, it lost a few sheets of galvanise off one corner of the roof, but Beryl took the whole roof off and put most of it down outside the church in the churchyard. Here's the inside of the church of St. Patrick, the Church of St. Patrick, Hillsborough. From Hillsborough we move on to the village of Bogles and the little church of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Yes, some sheets of galvanise, about half the roof was stripped off, but the structure was relatively undamaged. Inside, yes, the water on the floor, but the furniture pretty intact, and yes, with a relatively small amount of work, it can be restored. From Bogles we made our way to Windward, and this is the scene of destruction along the road. These boats were lifted from the sea and placed on the shore. And this blue boat, nobody knows who owns it or where it came from. It does not belong to Windward or to Carriacou, but it just appeared there on the land at Windward. The scene of destruction at the jetty in Windward. This boat totally destroyed. The jetty itself stripped naked. This is the jetty from which people reach Carriacou from Petite Martinique. Petite Martinique is the little cone-shaped island you can see in the top left corner of this picture. But communications at that time between Windward and just impossible because nowhere to go ashore, and even the jetty in Petite Martinique was seriously damaged. Again, the scene at the jetty in Windward. The shop at the jetty totally destroyed. The village of Windward probably suffered more damage and more destruction than anywhere else on the island. This aluminum boat here is called Caritas, and this was the boat that I used during my time in Carriacou. I have many happy memories of it. Unfortunately, for many years before Beryl, it was drawn up on the shore and allowed to decay. Beryl passed over it without touching it. The Church of St. Peter and Paul in Windward, it looks relatively undamaged, with only the bell tower damaged. The church is almost 100 years old, but the presbytery lost the roof completely, the presbytery right beside the church. Inside, it doesn't look too bad. You can see the seats are intact, the roof is still there. But when you look up at the big beams that form the rafters and the purlins of the roof of the Church of St. Peter and Paul in Windward, you see that they're about to collapse, that the whole roof is rotten, and the whole roof needs to be replaced. The jamb of the door, this door blew in, but look at the door jamb. Here's a closer up picture of the rottenness of the jamb of the door. All the wood in the church was rotten. The whole roof will have to come off and be completely replaced. Here is a home that looks not too bad, but the walls are cracked, and all the furniture was just blown away and hooked and damaged. And the family that lived there are living now underneath the concrete floor in the space underneath the building in horrible conditions. Again, the road, the Windward Road, traveling towards Dover. This is Dover Government School. It was being used as a shelter by the government, and there were people there taking shelter from the hurricane when it collapsed. Fortunately, the people were able to escape to the building on the right corner of the picture that you see, which was the new library which had just been completed, and where they were able to crowd in until the hurricane passed. This 20-foot container was parked at a house about half a mile away from the school. It was lifted